So let's talk about a simple question is often asked. I've had one baby with a genetically normal euploid embryo. I've got few more in storage. What are my chances of pregnancy with the remaining euploid embryos? And so what I've done is we have just looked at some studies which provide quite important impact. So in ESHRE 2023, they had a paper which said a second euploid transfer is more likely to succeed if the previous confirmed a euploid implantation, suggesting that the second transfer had a better chance of pregnancy. So what's the hypothesis? The hypothesis is that given the specific number of success rates, the subsequent transfer must have a success rate closer to the first transfer, 69.4%, rather than the average second transfer rate of 59.3% due to a demonstration of that there has been a pregnancy. So what they've done is they've looked at the average chance of pregnancy, the first transfer rate of 69%, and the intermediate rate. So they've generally looked at a general range, and they've mathematically calculated and said with one transfer, two transfer, three transfers, considering that you had the first baby being born, then what are your chance of pregnancy? And it seems that after three transfers of three embryos, it seems to generally reach beyond 90%. And then looking at all from the most optimistic prediction to the most lowest prediction, you are still looking at a success rate between 59% to 69.4%. So that's a wide variation, and it still seems to be quite promising. So if you look at the higher probability of three transfers, 95%, a good probability of two transfers, 90%, and a moderate possibility of two transfers, a chance of having a second baby would be around 85%. So what that suggested is that if a woman has already had one child from a euploid embryo, her success rates for subsequent transfers may be similar or slightly lower than the first transfer, but a prior success suggests that she has a higher chance compared to others. Research indicates that one additional transfer, her chance of having a second child is about 59.3%. And with two additional transfers, it rises to around 83.4%. So they looked at two other studies, which are looking at the RMS study group, again, which looked at 69.4% for first transfer and then 59%. The Genetics and Fertility Clinic, which reported a 78% pregnancy rate for PGTR transfers. And again, it depends very much on clinic-specific data. In conclusion, we would say the success rate of a subsequent euploid embryo transfer does not necessarily increase, with data suggesting a potential decline, but again, it's based on small numbers. Given a successful, there is data also to suggest that the success rates are likely to be higher, possibly a range of 65 to 70%. Again, all these are genetically normal embryos. To have a second baby, the probability of having a baby goes up to almost 95%, and to reach that, you may need between 2 and 3 additional transfers depending on the individual success rate. So that's the data is quite less. So looking at all the data, it seems to be quite promising considering that has been one baby.